We are here and we are strong. Let's be counted as we move on. Make a difference, change lives as we tell our different stories. We are capable, beautiful. We are born to do great things. We're unstoppable, incredible, 'cause we're differently abled, differently.
Hello there, it's a Saturday, and so it's that day of the week that we bring you insightful issues of people with disabilities. Welcome to Able Differently, your informative program. I am Jairus Ongeta.
And I am Judy Okita. Welcome.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Matthew Karungu is an optimistic individual whose personality has allowed him to enjoy life in many ways. Our team met with him and compiled the following report.
I am Matthew Karungu Kamuyo. I'm the second born of a family of 3. I have an elder sister and a younger sister. I was born on Friday 14th December 1984. And what happened the day for the delivery, I got stuck. Instead of a surgeon being called to do a CS, they put me out. So I was put into an incubator and cried after 4 days. They even tried to slap me, but I did not cry. I was just opening my eyes. After 2 weeks, my mom's mom came to see me, and she actually saw that the way you put a baby on a chair to sleep, she noticed that I'm not doing any movement, like controlling my head. So she told my mom to return me to hospital. But going there, we did not find any report. I think the doctors noticed the mistake and they trashed the records. I started my education in January 1993 at a school called Joytown Special Primary School. I started from special class. Then I was enrolled to primary in 1986 in the same school up to 2002. I wrote a letter to the Communication Authority of Kenya. I came back in 14th March 2016 as a contract in consumer and public affairs. Then I was hired on the 8th February 2017 as a management trainee in document research and documentation. Then later was confirmed that same year in August I became research and documentation officer too. Then that year a new division was created, the Innovation Research and Development Department. I was lucky to be deployed in that department, so I came to be now intellectual property rights officer. And with the adhesive, and I also record in a database. I can say for CA, they've really put their best effort to make me comfortable. They even bought a wheelchair for me to be using in the office. And I've really tried to make CA to become a disability-friendly environment. I can cook, I can't put my clothes on the hanger. So most of the time at my level, we have separated my drawers so that only shirts and sweaters can be on the hanger, but t-shirts, trousers, and everything else at a level that I can just pick for myself. Yes.
Matthew, I've known him as a quite hard-working person. He's enthusiastic and he relates well with his peers as well as his seniors, and is more than willing to take on tasks that is assigned, and he does them to the best of his ability, with I would say with minimum supervision. Matthew is not the only physically challenged person that is employed at the authority. We have a number of them, and I'm aware that there's a disability policy that exists and that is being effectively implemented. I've had a chance to interact with a number of his friends who also have a similar condition, and the feedback I get is that they are enjoying in the areas where they are working, and they are coping with the assignments that they are assigned, and they are able to deliver those assignments within the required timelines.
Parents who have children with cerebral palsy. Let me focus on CP. You see, most of the parents, when they get children like me, first of all, they hide them. Something that your auntie, uncles, your grandparents or cousins, they did not come to know you. First of all, introduce those children to your family members. You will get a lot of support. Secondly, do not hide them, because they are hidden and they get attack at a very young age, and they are not able to survive.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Welcome back. The first phase of Kenya Chess Championship for people with disabilities was held last weekend and was attended by many. Take a look.
The first phase of Kenya Chess Championship for people with disabilities was held at Stima Members Club on 28 September 2019, with players competing in different categories.
Initially, Chess Kenya didn't have this department. So being the head of the physically challenged and the special groups, I came up with the idea of organizing the first ever event. And the event is sponsored by Chess Kenya. So I went an extra mile of visiting these schools, starting with 2 schools in Vika, Machakos, other schools in Nyeri. So most of these players, most of them are deaf and they're physically challenged, but few of them have this condition called hemophilia. Others are albinos. Yeah, basically that.
The well-attended event was organized by Chess Kenya Federation President, who got a chance to tell us what prompted him to focus on persons with disabilities.
This is one of the flagship programs that Chess Kenya is introducing to support people living with disabilities. And you will recall some of them cannot play any other sport. Physical sports like football, volleyball, and all other physical sports that you can name. In chess, being the only sport that provides an opportunity for a player, whether you are a child, you can play an old man, whether you are physically challenged, you can play a physically fit person. So generally chess transverses all the cultures and boundaries. So basically for us we felt being a sport that can cut across, we should actually involve and integrate people living with disability in our sport. And you can see a lot of them have a lot of talents.
Immaculate Mwende, a student at Kenyatta University who is one of the players, explained what made her to participate.
I started playing chess and I joined KU as second year. Yes, this event like the Games Day, Special Needs Games Day. And so you are supposed to join any kind of game that you feel that is suitable for you. And for me, being a student is physically impaired, the only game I thought was best for me is chess. I've really been enjoying it. It really keeps me busy and I'm bored, and we go and do some, we just play the partner. For me, yes, for the movement of hands, I have to do physically for the therapy hands. So when moving the bones and the knives, that's a kind of a therapy to me. So I'll do it regularly. Those who are at home with special needs, they don't have to remain at home. There are so many things that you can do outside. Not only education, but also games will really benefit you. There is the talents. So and with talents you can go, it can take you really far. So I encourage them. Let's always fight for our talents and work for them.
Running a successful championship requires determination, commitment and passion because there are a lot of challenges that one faces.
Basically, it's resources. We have been seeking sponsorship from various organizations, from various corporate bodies. But most of them, they may not realize particularly what we stand for and what we would want to achieve. But with small resources we have, you can see what we have been able to deliver. Some of them are going hungry, they can't have anything to eat, they have come from far. But with little we can get, they can have something to fight.
Chess is a game that can be played by persons with disabilities and does not discriminate. Therefore, Frederick campaigns on pushing for chess to be integrated into the education system.
We have introduced various categories of the games. We have the Department for Education, we have also for Special Education, where we have started with the person living with the disability, and we want to check out also on other programs like taking the game to prisons, taking to hospitals, to street children and children homes. So we want to see how we can use this game to empower. For example, when we play this game, we have coaches, trainers who get employed. We have students who are being helped by the actual, because this is a mental game, it is like helps more to actualize STEM, because it strengthens a kid's mind in mostly languages, sciences and other things. So we advocate it to be like a STEM subject. And we are appealing to the Ministry of Education and the National Olympic Committee, especially the team which is here today, to be incorporated in this game.
Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Deaf and Hard of Hearing Advocacy Day was held last weekend to sensitize the community on matters concerning hearing impairments. Take a look.
Deaf and Hard of Hearing Advocacy Day was held on the 28th of September with the aim of creating a platform for interaction and awareness about the hearing impaired community.
Now, the rationale of today is basically to advocate and raise our voices for parents, for the community to understand where children with hearing impairment are coming from, the challenges that they are going through, and for us to explore ways of identifying the various solutions that are existing there that can assist these children.
The advocacy was started by a group of parents in search for answers about raising such children. They founded an organization known as Hands and Voices, which brings together parents who have children with special needs, specifically hearing impairment.
One initiative as parents called Hands and Voices Kenya. We have come together as parents who have gone through the same kind of experience with our children, where we discovered that our children were not able to hear, and we sought support from different places and to help our children to be able to fit in the society, to be able to also achieve their developmental stages, even with a hearing loss. And many of us as parents have come up with different ways of helping our children based on the hearing loss.
The group was for a good cause, but for some reason it took off on a rocky start, prompting them to put it on hold before finally standing on their feet.
We are not dealing with any financial support because we are relatively very new. We have not been able to raise funds to that extent. But what has happened previously, as we have pulled the community and parents together. We have been able to be supported. If you can notice here, we have here the World Foundation. Some children have actually been supported through having hearing aids, and it came in very well, especially for those children. But at this particular moment, we have not. Our interest right now and what we are actually moving towards is creating a support structure for a parent. You can imagine if you walk into the hospital, this is your first child, and somebody tells you, you know what, your child is deaf, and stops there. You need to have somebody who has gone through the journey, who can share the experience and strengthen you and tell you it's not the end of the world. Your child can live a normal life and fulfilling life like any other child.
Here, children are offered hearing aids and some get cochlear implants for better communication. Not only do they get a chance to interact, but also showcase their talent. For parents, it's always joyful when a child makes progress, no matter how tiny it is.
My firstborn son, who's hearing impaired. So what you're seeing here is a cochlear implant on one side, but he was not deaf completely, but profoundly deaf. So his school's here. He's now trying to acquire speech, although he's 7 years old, so you can imagine how late he is. But at least, like now, you can call out his name, he can cross the road well, he can mumble a few things. So since we came here and he got the implant, things have really changed. He's not the same anymore, and we are going to walk this journey. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the other kids play. Some are very fluent. You'll see others playing instruments, and they are deaf. They were profoundly deaf. So the word we are trying to push out there is, if you have a kid with such a condition, technology has really advanced now. Things have changed. And with the implants, with hearing aids, you can get your child to talk one day.
But it is not always smiles, as parents of children with special needs face a lot of difficulties due to the responsibility that come along with such.
There are some of us who are using hearing aids, some of us are using cochlear implant, and some of us actually are using sign language. So there are different modes, and they all work depending on the needs of the child, and what works for the child is what we say is the best for the child. Yeah.
Are we able to provide for those solutions, and are we able to rehabilitate? For instance, if a child is using sign language, are they the only ones who are using sign language and the parents don't even understand it? Because we want to create a forum whereby the child does not communicate with sign language or with speech, and the children cannot speak, or the parents cannot support. Number 4 is placement. When we talk about placement, we are talking about schooling. We want to raise awareness in terms of us providing or seeking solutions in terms of where our children are going to school. Are we having the necessary devices, or are we having the support structures? Even if the child is in a deaf school, do we have the necessary support structures to allow that child to grow normally like any other child? And the number 5 is actually to have what we call parent involvement and community support. Because this is a journey you have to make, not as an individual. You make it with your child, you make it with your father, we make it with your mother, we make it with each and every person. For us, we have actually walked the journey and to a point whereby everybody in the community actually understands Wambui and knows Wambui has a hearing, and they will support her in each and every aspect. So that is the rationale of today. We want to raise as much awareness as possible. We want to be the voices. And we have actually have this organ as a Hearts and Voices Kenya, that what the choice you choose for your child, what works for your child, is the best choice. It doesn't matter whether it is sign language, it doesn't matter whether it is hearing aids, it doesn't matter whether it is cochlear. At the end of the day, are we able to enable our children to communicate and fit in within the society?
My name is Julita Wambui Njuguna. I'm 14 years old.
I go to St. Christopher's Secondary School. I'm in year 10 and I'm a stage 4 student preparing for the IGC exam in 2021. Play flute, I play recorder, I play piano, sometimes drums and guitar, but I still play piano and flute most of them during performances. Like I go to St. Andrew Turi for orchestra. I play also in my school.
'Cause we're differently abled, differently.
Let's take a look at the UN Convention on the Rights of Persons with Disability.
Article 6 of the UN Convention states that state parties recognize that women and girls with disabilities are subject to multiple discrimination, and in this regard shall take measures to ensure the full and equal enjoyment by them of all human rights and fundamental freedoms.
Whenever you meet a person with albinism, it is important you don't call them names. What do you think, Jairus?
So true. Because in the recent past, we have had myths in our societies that have made us believe that people with albinism have mystical powers, that their body parts can be sold, and now people are calling us, money and all these things, which is not right. Albinism is just a genetic condition that affects the skin and the eyes, but doesn't deter or make anyone different from any other person. So don't call people names, and that's our tip for today.
Well, that's all for today. Until next week, same place, same time. It's me, Judy Okite.
And me, Jairus Ongeta.
Bye.